Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer and welcome to Best Kept Plans. Today's video is a mini book haul for May 2022. If you're interested in seeing that, please stick around. So as I said in my intro, this is going to be a kind of a mini book haul. I just went to the bookstore and picked up only a few different books. I have a bunch of books from my last book haul that I have not gotten to yet. Some of them I'm not planning on getting to soon. Some of them I am planning on getting to. So I didn't want to go too crazy, but there's definitely a few books that I just had on my mind, or I don't know, I kept seeing on BookTube and Instagram that I wanted to get my hands on. So I thought I would share what I picked up. Also, we are full-fledged springtime right now, and there's like about 3 of my neighbors that are cutting their grass. So if you can hear that in the background, I apologize. I did close all of my windows trying to make the noise as minimal as possible, but this is the only time that I was gonna have to film this video, so I can't not film. And whatever they're doing right now is so loud. Anyways, I'm hoping it's not that bad when I actually share this with you all. So first book that I'm gonna share is one that I have seen everywhere. Everyone raves about this book. I do know that it's being made into a film, and so I've had in the back of my mind that I wanna get it and I wanna read it. I'm not sure how quick I'm gonna get to it, but I definitely want to get to it, and that is Where the Crawdads Sings. Nope, that's the wrong title. Where the Crawdads Sing. No S at the end. I've heard it's wonderful. I mean, one of my colleagues has read it. No, 2 of my colleagues have read it, and they both said that it's fantastic. Anytime I've seen it here on BookTube, people are saying wonderful things about it. So I'm excited to read it. Again, I don't know exactly when I'll get to it, but I'm excited to read it. Next, we have another one that I've seen a bunch of different places. I don't know if this is considered adult or young adult. I believe it's romance, and I've just heard good things about it. You know, I will say, like, this month I've really been taking more of like a light and fluffy approach to my reading. If you watched my May TBR video, which I can definitely link up here, I think that's the right area. What I've actually read so far in the month of May, and today is May 16th, is way different than that TBR. I ended April with starting Station 11, and I never ended up reading it. The day that I filmed my like April recap, and then right after film my May TBR, was not a great day for me, and I had literally just started Station 11 that morning. I was only a few pages into it, and then I kind of stopped reading for a few days. Like, I had to take a reading break because of life. And I did share on the community tab that I lost my grandmother, and so there was a lot of family stuff going on. And then when I did pick up a book, for some reason Station 11 is just not where my head went. I had gotten the volume 4 of Heartstopper, and so I ended up picking that up. And then I did pick up a pretty intense read, and if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I did post about it. I ended up reading The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, which was fantastic. And then since then I've kind of leaned more fluffy, and I feel like right now I need to kind of stick with a little bit of like lighter and fluffier, or not even just light and fluffy, but like more easy reads, things that are not, that are just easy to follow, things that are laid out pretty straightforward. Do you know what I mean? I don't feel like I have like the mental capacity or bandwidth for something that's a little bit more intense right now. And so I think this is more leaning light and fluffy, or being laid out pretty straightforward. And if I'm wrong, please put a comment down below. But I have seen this talked about on BookTube and I believe everything I've heard about it is great. So I picked it up, and honestly, I kind of want to just pick it up and read it now. I just finished a book yesterday, and I'm gonna comment on that in a little bit. So I kind of just want to pick this up and start this today. We'll see. If you did watch my May TBR video, I talked about how I wanted to read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and I did read it, and I really enjoyed it. It was a young adult mystery thriller style book. I have not read any young adult books in a very, very long time. I hadn't ever read any young adult mystery thriller, and I did say that me reading that book might change my May TBR up, because that might make me want to read the sequels. And I have read one book since I read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I think I want to read at least one more before I start reading the second one in the series, but I did pick it up. That's kind of the reason I went to the bookstore, was to get this. I definitely want to get back into this world, and I think that the first book leaves more story to tell, with a couple of the different characters, and so I'm intrigued and excited to pick up the second book in the series. Again, I read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I read one other book, and then I really think I want to read The Simple Wild and then pick this one up after that, but we'll see what happens. Next is another Colleen Hoover book. So I have read a couple different Colleen Hoover books now. I think I've read 3 of her books now, and one of them I was not a big fan of. That was Verity. I really, really loved Ugly Love. This month I have read It Ends With Us, which I really enjoyed, and you'll hear me talk more about during my May recap. So when I went to the bookstore, I decided to pick up another one of her books just to have one, and that is Reminders of Him. I don't know anything about this one. I generally don't know much of anything about the books that I read. I like to really go into things without knowing anything, and so the cover is really nice. It's really cool. Interested in reading another one of her books, so I ended up picking this one up. I don't think I'm gonna get to this one like super quickly. I'll probably read several more books before I get back into another Colleen Hoover, so maybe in June. And then the last book that I picked up, super random. Why? So quite a while ago, it may have been early days of the pandemic. I think it was. I kind of tried to start getting back into reading. I joined like an Instagram book club. We read a couple of books together. We read Beach Read. We read Eleanor Orlevant is Completely Fine or Fine. I forget exactly what the title of that book was. Those are both great books that I recommend. And then I kind of went off on my own, and I read a couple of others, and one of them was the first Game of Thrones book. I've seen the whole Game of Thrones series. I really liked the series except for season 8. And I really liked the first Game of Thrones book. But I have big book fear. And so I knew after I read the first book that I really needed to take a break. And it's been, I swear, it was like earlier days of the pandemic, or at least the first 6 months of the pandemic when I read it. So it's probably been a year and a half, 2 years since I've read the first Game of Thrones book. And for some reason, when I was at the bookstore, I was like, I need to look for the next Game of Thrones book. And I did, and I grabbed it. It's called A Clash of Kings. So this is the second Game of Thrones book. I got this kind of bigger version of it because it makes me feel better about the big book fear. It doesn't seem so overwhelming versus like the smaller books that are like super chunky and thick. It's still 700 pages, I think. Yeah, over 700 pages, 728 pages still, even though it's this big. But I don't know, something told me to pick it up, and I don't know when I'm going to get to this. I haven't kind of read anything that's fantasy since the first Game of Thrones book. I do have the Atlas 6, which was in my May TBR, that I do want to try to get to that this month. And so I don't think I'm going to read this month, because if I do, it'll be like the only thing I read for the second half of the month probably. But maybe in June. Like, I'm thinking of maybe diving in June to this, because again, I really did like the first one, and I'm curious to kind of get more into like the source material of the Game of Thrones show and where it's similar and where it's different and all that stuff. So that was it for my haul. I only picked up 5 books. But I did want to share with you guys randomly, because I haven't brought up this book at all. I went to Target. Today's Monday, so I went to Target. It must have been Friday, and of course I had to, no, it wasn't Friday, it was Thursday, and of course I had to go through the book section. And I stumbled across this book. It's called The Cheat Sheet, and I had never seen it before, never heard of it before, and I literally only picked it up because it has a dancer on the front who's in pointe shoes, and I grew up dancing, and so anything that's like dance related always grabs my attention. And it's considered romance. It seemed like it was going to be more of like a straightforward, light, fluffy kind of a book. And again, that's kind of what I've been gravitating to right now. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pick it up. And after I read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, I wanted a romance. Like, I wanted to read a romance after that. And so I picked this one up. I read this in one day. It's not long. It's not super long. It's just over 300 pages, I think. It's 300 pages, basically. And I really liked it. It was so cute. And so I thought I would share it with you all because I haven't talked about it. And I don't know that I've like really seen it posted a lot or anywhere, honestly. I don't know if it's a newer book and that's why, but I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. One of the characters is a dancer. Oh, it looks like it came out in 2021 maybe. So yeah, I really enjoyed this book. If you haven't heard of it, give the back a read. I liked it a lot. I actually really liked it. So that is it for my little mini May 2022 book haul. Again, my TBR has totally changed for the month. If you watch that TBR video, then get ready for my May recap because it's way different from that TBR. But so far I've been having a really great reading month, I think. Everything that I've read, I've really enjoyed. And so feel like I'm gonna be like talking a lot about 4- and 5-star books when I do my recap of May. So I'm excited to pick up another book. Again, I just finished The Cheat Sheet yesterday, read it in one day. And so I really feel like I'm gonna dive into The Simple Wild. I don't know, something is telling me to dive into this book right now. So I think I'm going to pick this up. I'm not sure if I'm going to end up getting back to Station 11. I want to read it. I do. I don't think it's light and fluffy. So I might give it a little bit more time and kind of lean into a few more romance novels for the rest of the month, but we'll see. I definitely want to read Station 11. So if I don't read it this month, then I might just save it for June. If you have read any of the books that I picked up today, please don't hesitate to put a comment down below, spoiler free, letting me know what you thought. And as always, everyone, please be safe. Bye-bye.